Welcome back to Winter Pride 2023, supporting Point of Pride. I am PSEG, and we are ready for the next run. We're going to be taking a trip into the world of WePlay and a bunch of very interesting games. And also, at the very end, stick around, we'll be doing some tanks, 1 player, 2 controllers, thanks to an incentive being met. But until then, here is SMMidi doing platinum medals of WePlay. SMMidi, good luck.
Thanks so much, PSEG. Hi, I'm SMMidi. Yeah, we're going to be doing platinum medals today. This is the highest tier medal you can get in this game. Thank you for meeting the incentive as well. Yes, we will see that at the end of the run. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of gaming and billiards, so we'll just do a short introduction, but I'd like to introduce commentary with the 1C as well. Hello.
Hello. I am going to commentate.
So we're going to start with billiards. Timing won't start here. It's going to start when I press start over. So it will just be in a few seconds. This just saves a little bit of time on loads. So we will get going in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, so this is billiards, and the reason we start with billiards is because, as you can see, MIDI has already reset once, and I expect that we'll be seeing a lot of resets in billiards. We are trying to get a good break for billiards. The score requirement for platinum medals in billiards is 60 points, and what that entails is 7 combined shots and fouls. So basically what he's trying to get is at least 3 balls in the first shot of the game, but sometimes if the ball lineup is aligned with the pockets, sometimes you can get more than 1 in a shot after the break, and that will obviously allow you to hit the platinum medals more easily or just reach it in general. So that's why MIDI is resetting a lot in billiards here, and yeah, it's just not it's not convenient to have billiards in any split apart from the first. And the physics of billiards in WePlay is just not generally faithful to real life billiards. It has it does replicate the physics of real life pretty well. The best break that has been recorded is 7 balls. So first shot, 7 balls in. 3 people have achieved a 7-ball break, including SMMidi himself. And that's a very rare occurrence because this game has been out for 17 years, and people have only gotten the 7 break 3 times in recorded history.
Yeah, I mean, how many between us two, because you're more of an all games runner, which that starts with billiards as well. We probably have, pretty close to 10,000 billiards breaks between all categories.
Definitely way more than that.
Yeah, the fact that it's happened once for us combined is, yeah, that kind of just sums it up really. But yeah, for people that don't know, a break shot essentially is just the first shot of billiards. There's a bit of sort of billiards terminology that we're just throwing out here. This is a 3 break as well, so I am going to try to keep this going. It's not necessarily that fast on its own, but really for a marathon all we're looking for is just to get out. Yeah. That's pretty much what we want.
Earlier well,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep it going though.
MIDI was doing some billiards practice earlier, and it didn't go too well. So hopefully we're gonna see some marathon luck kick in, and we'll get out of billiards very soon. But for now, enjoy the sounds of the cue ball hitting the other balls, and just the general calm music that plays during billiards.
The good thing with this run is that if I really need to, we can move on to other games. We don't have to start with this. We can play the games in any order. So the next game up in our list is fishing. If we do want to move on and then come back to this later, then that is absolutely an option. The estimate kind of does accommodate for this though. This is a 3 break, but this is not a great setup. So I've kind of got snookered here, which basically just means the target ball isn't in my line of sight. Yeah, that was kind of expected there, to be honest. I actually did hit the target ball, but the cue ball still went in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just knowing when to reset, really. That's the best thing I can do here.
Patience is a very big virtue when you run Wii Play. So MIDI mentioned all games. Basically, in the metal runs, what MIDI's running now, Platinum, the time that you get out of billiards is not that important because you have all the other games to rely on for time save. But for all games, just like on a little bit of a tangent here, for all games, billiards is basically all that matters because everything else, if you don't go for medals, is an auto-scroller. There is pretty much no time to save except for a very select few games, and it's even more of a time sink if you play all games instead of medals because you're just gonna reset in billiards even if you get a 4 or 5 break. That's not gonna be good enough if you're going for world record because it's that optimized, and it's a lot shorter than medal runs, so that explains why it's a lot more strict in terms of pace. And yeah, we might be in billiards for a while, like I said. Hopefully we exit soon, but this is a 2 break, so 3 break.
It's a 3. The 2 went on a bit of a nicer path there. Yeah, the issue with this shot is that the cue ball might end up going into the other pocket. Okay, I think the spin has barely thrown it off. So you can sort of hit the cue ball where the red dot is, as in you are not doing sort of normal spin, like in real life physics. And billiards has actually been in other Nintendo games, mainly Clubhouse games recently. Both of those renditions end when the 9 ball goes in. You might have noticed that's not the case here. I mean, if that was the case, this would make this much nicer as a run, really. This is not ideal. The next ball is the green one. And this is really not in a great place. I could try and do a bank shot and just rebound it, but I don't have much faith in myself. Never mind.
You did it. Let's go.
I did, but this is still not a good setup. This is a bit of an unlucky 3 break, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let me just take my time lining this up.
The good thing about billiards and Wii Play is you have the alternative camera angle, as you might have seen MIDI use a bunch already. That just allows you to line up the shot a bit better than you would just eyeballing it. Come on.
That's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate.
So
if I hit that any harder, the cue ball would have gone in. I know I would have, so...
Okay, another decent break.
It's
Not
a 2,
ideal, but hopefully we can see some more than one ball action after the break here. Oh, nearly. Anyways, so a bit more billiards fun trivia. MIDI actually has the highest score world record for this when he got his own 7 break. The world record before he broke it was 69 points, tied by, I think it was 6 or 7 people. And then when MIDI got his 7 break, he got lucky enough to have the balls align in a way that he was able to beat it in, I think, 3 combined shots and fouls instead of 4. So yeah, every subsequent shot or foul that you take subtracts 3 points. So the theoretical maximum score value you can get for billiards is, I think it's 78, right?
Yeah, 78 if we were somehow able to get a 9 break.
Yeah, 9 break has become sort of a meme. 9 break has become sort of a meme in the Wii Play community. It's probably never going to happen, but we just like to joke that it will if we just collectively throw ourselves at billiards enough. So yeah, why don't you guys load up your Wiis and join us in the effort to get a 9 break. That would be really fun.
Different definition of fun to what I would say, but yeah, it's definitely an interesting thing you can do on the Wii. But whether or not it's fun, I don't know. We are getting to the point where I might end up moving on to another game. For now, I think this might be a good time for possibly any messages or donations, really.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'd love to jump in with one if you don't mind. We have a $10 donation from HUDS601. A very familiar name, almost like we just saw a run from them. And they say, I said $5 per death, but have $10 instead. Love to all my LGBTQ plus friends. Less than 3. Thank you so much, HUDS, for that kind donation. And remember, keep those donations rolling in. We've got showcases, D4DJ Easter egg songs, Link to the Past bonus runs, and some polls for file name Bid Wars and Echo Junior character choice for tomorrow morning that are still needing some money and some love. So keep them rolling in! ! Donate in chat. Back to you, SMMidi.
Okay, so we just saw 4 break here, which is premium platinum medal territory. And I think we're actually going to get out of billiards now.
Don't say that. No, don't say that.
Okay.
It's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed, but hopefully MIDI clutches it out.
I do mess these up on a regular basis. Today
No pressure,
included.
no pressure.
in
You got
practice.
this, you got this.
Please stay there, please. Okay, here's the thing. We have an extra stroke to use here. An extra shot. So here, stroke, that's golf term. So even if the cue ball goes in here, we are out. Okay, nice. That is
Okay, nice.
just
nice.
over 10
We're
minutes.
out
That's
of
fine.
billiards.
We are still ahead of estimate. Don't panic too much. Yeah, PB for this is just under 1 hour, which I don't expect to replicate. But the best thing with this game is that all of those billiards resets don't count for a run on the leaderboard. If I were to go on and finish the rest of the game in a PB pace, it would count as a PB because the time starts at start over. So regardless of how long that takes me, it can still be a PB. But we are on to fishing now, which is quite an interesting game.
So for fishing, as you can see, there are 5 different types of fish on screen right now. One of them is the mystery fish, which MIDI is going to catch right now. That appears sporadically. It's not consistently. It doesn't consistently show up every single time you play fishing. That's just kind of like a random occurrence. It might appear, it might not. But the other 4, the brown one that there are none on screen right now. That's a plain. Sorry, no, that's a small fry, the brown fish, and that loses you 50 points if you catch it because it's so tiny. It's like a waste of time. It only takes 1 bite to attach to the hook, and if you yank your Wii remote up, then you lose 50 points. And MIDI's right now going for the nibbler, and that takes 3 bites to attach to the hook. And yeah, there's a green fish, the plain old fish, that takes 2, and the touchy fish, the orange one, takes 4. And as you can see on the top of the screen, there's a bonus display. If you catch whatever fish is on the bonus display, then you get double the points that it would normally give you, as you see in the ×2 bonus and the nice rainbow there. That's just like a little embellishment, and I like the general atmosphere of replay is very chill. It has calming music. It has just the general casual atmosphere that people love, and it's one of the best-selling Wii games of all time. So yeah,
One of the best-selling games in general of all time because it was £10, including like on top of a Wii remote. So it sold so many copies. It's one of those games that everyone owns, but no one remembers apart from Tanks, which we are going to see soon.
Yeah, and I completely forgot to mention that the platinum score for fishing is 2600, which MIDI easily accomplished. And the 5th type of fish, which I purposefully left out earlier, was the king of the pond, the blue and purple fish. That was the biggest one. If it appears on screen, it's a guaranteed bonus if you get it within a certain time frame. That takes 5 bites to attach to the hook, and it gives the biggest point total. So once MIDI caught that, with the rest of the fish that he already caught, it was a guaranteed platinum. So that's why he was able to just sit back and relax and enjoy the countdown there. And now we are on to Find Me. Find Me is the Where's Waldo of Wii Play, and it is just like, can you see what the game prompts you to spot. And there are two notable strategies here. One is the hitbox strategy, which if you're observant enough and you're playing the game, then if you like hover the Wii cursor around the screen, sometimes the Mii that you're supposed to click on actually does have a bigger hitbox than the surrounding Miis. So if you're sensitive enough to the observation that the hitbox is a bit bigger than it's supposed to be, then you can just find the other Mii that's similar to that Mii, and you complete the level. And then the other strategy that is pertinent to find Mii is the hat strategy. And the hat strategy is basically you make a bunch of Miis with different colored hats so you can differentiate them from other randomly game-generated Miis or just the other Miis in your Mii channel. And that makes the spotting game much easier because you have a bunch of different and easily, like, you make Miis that stand out easily from each other, so that makes it easy to find them. Yeah.
Something to note as well, this game is technically you're allowed co-op or cooperation with this. Obviously only one person can press the buttons, but there's not really a way we can ban people from having other people in the same room or VC or Twitch chat helping. Now for a PB attempt that would be way too slow, but if we get really desperate, that is an option. And I do have a ton of custom Miis in here. I cannot play this game without, like, I couldn't get gold medal without having some of these unique looking Miis. Before then, I just could not play this game. So, yeah, it helps a long way for me.
Pink hat, there you go.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so this is a very cooperative effort. If anyone in the Twitch chat wants to play along, then feel free. Definitely do help MIDI. Or just participate and pretend that you're playing the game, which is, can you beat MIDI? Can you speed run Find a Mii faster than SMMidi?
99% of people can't do this. Can't do this
Typical
level.
mobile ad.
If we have a moment, could I jump in here with an announcement?
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
We have just breached the $3,000 mark with a
Yo,
very
Let's go.
kind $100 anonymous donation. And
That's
the comment
wild.
is, for trans rights everywhere, and hit that 3K mark. Thanks to all the wonderful hosts and runners. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for that donation. And thank you to everyone who's helped us get to that 3,000 mark and beyond. Let's keep going. Back to y'all.
trans rights, indeed.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That is a fantastic total already. Not actually sure for this one. I thought it
I'm
was
not
those
sure
two, but it
either.
is not. It's them two. There's three.
Okay, there
That's
we
fine.
go.
Cool. The water levels
Yes.
are really difficult because half the time their face is in the water. So yeah, it's really hard.
It's also, water levels have cycles in them, and Find Me cycles are very annoying because if the right Mii goes off screen at an inopportune time, you have to wait for it to come back onto the screen in order to click it, and that's a waste of time. And there is a timer at the bottom of Find Me. If that timer runs out, then you lose the game. Luckily, you do get 10 extra bonus seconds to find Miis if you beat a level. So we are trying to stay at 120 seconds to find Miis, which is where the timer caps, as you can see right now. Yeah. And platinum requirement for Find Me is 80 levels. So
Yeah,
we are
we're
going
in for a long haul game here.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
long.
one of the longer splits in this game. But it's okay because we play, like I said, has a casual atmosphere. So we're chilling, right?
Yeah, we're chilling. Now we're out of billiards. In a marathon run, we're pretty much chilling. Like, we could technically game over, but there is always the handy little tool called screenshotting the game. I mean, we can pause, but it does, you know, they thought of that. They hide the Miis. Also, picking the beanie hat here because there will be way less with... most of them will not be wearing beanies when I actually get back to the Find Your Favorite level. So it's much easier to pick the one with the colored hat.
Yeah. For these two levels here, we were just trying to find which Mii was walking out of step with the others. So you had to focus on the feet or the leg movements of the Miis. That's like that's those two levels are the only time that they use that prompt, and it's so unfortunate because they could have expanded upon that idea so much more instead of just, oh, can you find 3 of a kind, 2 of a kind, or, you know, so on and so forth.
There are so few Miis there, you can just brute force through the entire level if you really need to. If you have 120 seconds to spare anyway. So that is 40, we're halfway through. We are seeing a lot more levels that are zoomed out now, and they are the ones that are great for hitbox strat that we mentioned earlier. So we will be seeing that a lot more. That is not Bellsprout. That is not the right answer. A lot of my viewers kind of struggled to to work out which Mii that was. I basically spent a couple of long streams just making characters, making Miis. I cannot see the answer.
With the makeup.
Oh yeah. Wait. Oh yeah. There we go. Yeah, hitbox strat almost saved me there. But yeah, because the levels get more zoomed out, it means the hitbox is much bigger. And if you watch a full 99 level run, you'll see exactly how that is, because the Miis at the back are really, really zoomed out, and so you can see hitbox strat much easier there. On the first few levels, you can't see it as much. But yeah, it does help a lot.
Yeah, people usually use a combination of both custom Mii strat and hitbox strat in order to go quickly through Find Mii.
I mean, there are some people that also just have all of the Miis made on their system that are actually like the CPU Miis, you know, the ones like Matt from Wii Sports and Miis like that. Some people actually make all of those Miis as their ones on the system, and that's it, and are getting better times than me at this. So, yeah, I feel very carried by the Miis that I have here, and yet they're able to just crank out amazing times without the need for that. Yeah, there's been a lot of competition in Find Mii lately. At the moment, the world record is 16:09. It got pushed down about 30 to 40 seconds in one run. There used to be leniency in that category. There isn't anymore, which is really scary.
And the crazy thing is, the 1609 was performed solo, and the world record before that, I believe, was performed co-op.
Yeah.
So
Murasaki's just cracked at every Wii Series game, honestly.
Yeah, whatever he touches, he's gonna absolutely demolish.
Yeah.
And it's wild. If we have any more donations, feel free to read them out.
Actually, I'd like to take this moment to talk about Point of Pride, if that's all right with y'all.
Oh,
absolutely.
Course, yeah.
For Point of Pride 2023, I'm sorry, for Winter Pride 2023. Wow, I'm looking too closely at all these Miis and getting distracted here. We're raising money for Point of Pride. Point of Pride is a trans-led 501c3 nonprofit organization that provides access to gender-affirming health and wellness services. The vast majority of recipients of their services are trans youth, folks living with disabilities and chronic illness, and folks living in rural or unaffirming regions. Your support ensures that they receive the affirming care they need. And again, folks, !donate in the chat if you'd like to find out how to support them and increase that counter beyond 3,000 and then some for Point of Pride. And yes, !charity. Thank you, Scala Kitty. that is how you can check out more information about Point of Pride. Pointofpride.org. And I'll let you all have the Find Me's again. I see it's gotten quite dark here.
Yes.
Yeah, someone turn the lights off.
There are dark levels, and the elevator dark levels are notoriously some of the hardest that Find Me has to offer.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Let me see. No, I already tried that one. Wait, is there hitbox strat on one of these?
I feel like I did see. Yeah, it's that.
Definitely you.
Wait.
There we go.
There it is. There.
We got there in the end. So in terms of a PB attempt, that would basically be over because that was a very long level. But in terms of the marathon again, as long as we can recover some time on the timer, then we're absolutely fine. No, it's me trying to unselect there. Wait, that might be you.
It is.
Yeah, there we go. I thought I'll try it. Cool. So, fiendishly as well, all the dark levels, or most of them at least, are always just before a medal. So, for example, there, we had 58, 59, and 60. Now, conveniently, 60 is gold medal. And we're pretty much going to see that again in a minute for 80, which is very mean. And then for some reason, the last, 10 levels get super easy. I don't know why, but they do. I'm not complaining. We're not going to see them, but they do get a little bit easier. But there are Find Me ILs. If you don't really like what the rest of the game has to offer, you can just run specific games here, and Find Me ILs are really popular. Some of them are really, really short. And that's Bob Ross.
Yeah,
that's one of my new additions.
Find Me individual levels include 5. So just speedrun through 5, the first 5, the first 10, the first 20. 20 is a bronze medal, the first 50, and of course 99. And I have no clue why it's distributed like that instead of the medal thresholds, but I'm not complaining because there are 3 relatively short Find Me categories and 2 relatively longer ones, which is a good balance.
Yeah, to be fair, on the category extensions, we did get that this year, around March time, I think. We got a category extensions page. We do actually have the medals, individual medals. Oh, basketball. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so we do have an individual medal leaderboard. There's been so much happen this year, honestly. It's been one of the biggest years for WePlay. I don't think there's any way we're gonna try to top this in 2024, but it's gonna be pretty difficult. There's been a lot.
Yeah.
We've had 2 7 breaks this year, which is just unreal. So, yeah, just to top that would be quite something.
I should mention that 2 of the biggest discoveries made this year, one of them is that version differences of WePlay do matter. So Midi is playing on the 1.0 version of WePlay right now, which means that he has faster load times in between levels, which saves, is it 5 to 7 seconds in total?
I think it's 5. I think it's 5, yeah. That's the wrong one. I'm just going to unselect that.
Yeah, so 5 seconds in total for playing on 1.0 versus 1.1. And the other massive discovery made was score skip. So if you haven't noticed, Midi has, whenever he got a medal, his scoreboard was already filled up. Now in a fresh file, that would not be the case. You would have the score you got at the top of the podium, and then a short little like me glowing up in the spotlight, like, yay, I just got a new high score. And then the medal appeared. With the score skip, you set up a fresh file. So you play through the first 8 games, fill up the scoreboard with as high scores as you can possibly get, and then play through tanks 5 times consecutively. You get you max out tanks in that fresh file, and the scoreboard will already be filled out, except you haven't gotten any medals yet. That's the way that WePlay works. You have to go through all 9 games before you can start earning medals. So if you fill up your scoreboard before you finish tanks, then you have a full scoreboard without having any medals. And if you replay the game, get a medal threshold score, but below all of your scoreboard scores, then you earn the medal without having a short highlight spotlight animation play. And that saves, I think it's half a minute in total. I'm very sorry if that explanation was very like roundabout and made no sense, but it's the best I can manage.
Just to jump in, sorry. Yeah, so basically what I just did there is I drained my time on level 80 rather than 81. Basically on level 80, we are able to select 2 Miis at once and lose 5 seconds for each. Whereas on 81, we have to select 5 Miis for 5 seconds. So it's actually faster to drain there, select the right Mii, and then drain the last bit of time on 81, which looks a little bit scary, but once you've done it a few times, it's absolutely fine. So far, I've never lost a run to that, but I think one day it might happen, and I'm glad it's not today, but yeah, it saves a bit of time.
Yeah, now we are on tanks, and tanks might be the game that you folks have remembered from replay if you played this in your childhood, because it is by far the best game that replay has to offer. Just objectively, it has the most effort put into it with the level design, the missions, the CPUs, just the general concept of it. It is an outstanding feature of replay for sure, and MIDI is going to try to get platinum on this game. So the thing about tanks is you cannot get platinum right away because we are on a score skip file. The cap for tanks is mission 20, and mission 20 is the threshold for gold medals. For some reason, they don't let you surpass mission 20. But once you do get mission 20 for the first time, then you're allowed to go all the way up to mission 100. And that's the max for tanks, but platinum is at mission 30. So we are going to get mission 20 first. We're going to get tanks gold medal first, and then we're going to get platinum medal at mission 30.
Sorry, just to jump in again, one of the lovely people in Twitch chat has asked, how can you tell which version you have of WePlay? So there are, I believe it's been a while since I've actually looked into 1.0. I know there's specifics mainly with the cover of the game, or which games or which mini games are in which positions on the cover is one of the ways of telling, but it depends which region you're in, because the covers look different in different regions. But yeah, if you're on 1.0, which is a lot cheaper than Wii Sports, you save about 5 or 6 seconds. Wii Sports is a much more well-known time save, and it's also a lot more significant there because the runs are so much shorter. Whereas 5 seconds here really only matters in all games.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. I thought I was going to get some mine action there, but never mind.
I should probably go through the differences between each tank. So, yeah, the yellow tanks, they tend to lay mines a lot, and they're very passive. They only shoot bullets every once in a while. The gray tanks, they're not very intelligent. They also only shoot bullets once in a while, and they tend to run into bullets. And then the brown tanks, they're stationary. They are the least intelligent CPU. And there's teal tanks which shoot very fast missiles. They're quite aggressive, I think, so it's easy to go head to head against them and win the battle if you're skilled enough. And then the red tanks you just saw, they shoot bullets. They're about on the same aggressiveness as teal tanks, I believe. And then in the upcoming levels, actually, I won't spoil it for now. You'll see, I think it's in the next mission.
Yeah, we'll have a bit of time to explain it because we're going to have to play all the missions again. So,
Yes.
But there is a tiny, tiny difference we're going to see on mission 1 that I'm going to hope we get. It's a very low chance we get it, but there is a trick that I have started implementing into runs. I think I'm the only one who even dares to try it in runs at the moment, understandably, but we will get there. For
Yes.
now, there's even more tanks to explain. We've seen the green tanks
Yeah,
on
the
Mission
green
12 there.
tanks, we didn't see any action from the green tanks, which is uncharacteristic of them, but they shoot missiles that ricochet off the walls. And they have a limit of 2 bounces, so they are, in my opinion, they're the most scary tanks. Because they are very calculating. They can predict where you're going to be next, so unless you change your trajectory, the missiles will hit you, and that's very frightening.
Yeah, definitely casually they're difficult because the thing with this game is there's no mission select. And there are remakes on, or not remakes necessarily, but there are sort of fan-made games. There are lots of them. I've actually kind of made a list because I kind of want to go through and play some of them that use PC controls, keyboard and mouse kind of thing. Now, there is a really, really well-made one, the best one, really, for the amount of content that's packed in, and that's Wee Tanks, WEE. On Steam. Now that is, I think, less than $10, I think. So it's a really, really nice game, honestly. And there is an IGT timer in that game as well. That was a very nice mission. But that game has checkpoints. Now, that makes it amazing for practice, whereas this game, there's no mission select, so it's really hard casually.
The purple tanks here, they're also very calculating, but they tend to be they're quite aggressive, but they're also I think they're, I don't know how to describe them really. They're just hard.
Purples are difficult.
Yeah,
they basically are smart, so they know when to charge in when they should charge in, and they know when to be safe when they should be safe.
Yeah, they're very calculating.
Yeah, they're very, very good. And they're hard to deal with, especially in a speedrun. Where you've got grey tanks and teal tanks being defensive, and you've got green tanks which don't move, so they're kind of labelled as passive. You have purples and also black tanks, which we don't see in this speedrun, that can be pretty difficult to deal with. I would say sometimes purples in numbers are harder to deal with than black tanks and teal and green tanks, really, because although they don't fire rocket bullets, in numbers they can be much harder to sort of contend with. But in terms of this, we're only going to need to play 30 missions, even on the second game of tanks here. There are full game runs where you have to play more, and there are also, again, IL runs where you can play 5, 10, 20, 50, or 100 missions. But the full game runs that actually play more of tanks are, you know, your max percent 4-hour long categories. So we're not going to be seeing that here.
I should mention that, at least in the gold medal category, well, in the first playthrough of tanks that we're doing right now, every death you take is about a 7-second time loss. In the normal medal category, or not in the normal, but in any medal category less than gold, every death is, you need to die in order to get the medal anyways, but for gold, the game ends once you beat the final mission, as you'll probably soon see. I'm not going to jinx it. There you go. So, yeah, you don't need to die if you get gold medals. So every death you take is a time loss. But in lower medal categories, you need to die anyways to get the medal.
I'm going to focus here just to try and get tanks frame perfect death. We'll explain it after.
Not speak.
Oh, we didn't get it. That's fine. But just explain what tanks frame perfect death is, just in case we would have got it.
Okay, so Tank's frame perfect death is a strategy where if you die on the same frame as the last remaining enemy tank, you lose a life, but you also beat the level, and that saves time because you need to lose lives anyway for platinum medals that we're on right now.
Oh, I thought I'd go for it again. I thought I'd be cheeky because I didn't lose a life the first time. I normally dedicate 1 life to Tanks FPD, but because I missed it the nice way, the good ending of missing it, I didn't die and then take out the enemy. Basically, by taking out the enemy instead of dying, I don't actually lose any time for going for it. But even if I did miss it and die, I would have lost like 1.5 seconds. Whereas if I get it, it saves like 9 seconds. Because one, you're saving a death screen, but you're also saving the tiny little bit of time to actually lose the life when you get to mission 31. So yeah, it saves a lot of time. It's been done in a world record in silver medals. And that kind of has pushed that beyond my limit of I don't actually want to contend this now. Which is quite nice, but yeah.
I should mention that MIDI actually has the world record for all medal categories, so that's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. So he is just an absolute legend of Weeblay.
I try my best. I've spent a long time on platinum medals now, though, but yeah, for some reason I can't push this beyond 59.52 is where we're at, and my second best run is like a 102. Since then, I haven't been able to touch anywhere near that, and that contains one of my best ever tank segments for 20 missions. Something like a 70x, which is just a joke how good that is. And then the platinum medal was okay. Find Me, for the longest time, was 40 seconds better than my second best. So I've been trying to beat it, but I could probably go through the whole of 2024 and not beat it, to be honest. But we do have Murasaki, who's also trying to get sub-hour, and he's very close now. He's within 15 seconds now, I think. So
I think so, yeah. He's
pretty big
whittled his
competition.
time down. He's whittled his time down to in the past year or so.
Yeah, really just trying to get a run out of billiards is hard enough, because really what you're looking for is to finish billiards within about 1 minute and 10 seconds, including sort of the medal animation and stuff, which is pretty difficult. The one we got here was a finish, but it was a little slow in terms of a PB attempt. But again, we're out, so here we don't really care. We're out. We don't have to see billiards again.
I should mention that every 5 missions you do gain an additional life. That's just something that the game does, so you can get through all 100 missions, potentially, if you wanted. It's very difficult, but it has been done a number of times.
It's been done deathless a number of times. I don't know how. My best is like 60 missions deathless. After that, it's brutal.
Yeah, I personally have never gotten mission 100. I think my best is like mission 73 or something, which
That's
is
pretty good.
just, it's all like mission 73 is already ridiculous. I don't know how people do 27 more.
Yeah. Yeah, so by the end of tanks, you have missions that are giving you, in the 90s range, 8 tanks. 8 enemy tanks. And some of the layouts that you can get thrown randomly at you, which is a little bit of a spoiler for the upcoming ones, they can be really difficult. The tank positions are always fixed, but yeah, some of the stuff you can get thrown at you, if you get unlucky, can be really rough for a deathless run.
Right. Since MIDI mentioned randomness, the first 20 levels are deterministic. They're already preset, so we know what to expect. But is it 20 or 25? It's 20, right?
Yeah.
So the first 20 missions are preset, and past that, apart from a select few missions, every other mission is randomly generated. That includes the tank color and the map design. The tank position, like MIDI mentioned, is predetermined, but the difficulty is generally dependent on the tank color that you get, the tank colors that you get.
And here's an example of when 15 doesn't go as well. Good to see we get both, just to show you what normally happens.
Yeah, purple tanks are quite defensive when necessary, so...
Yeah, the moment they see a bullet in their path that they were gonna move in, they're just like, no, actually, I think it's better if I don't. And that turns out that's actually pretty difficult to deal with. Oh, no. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, we're gonna need to lose lives anyway. So.
Yeah, that's true. It's nice not to, because obviously we would like to not game over. But yeah, thankfully we are still on 4 lives, which is a nice position to be in.
Yeah, I think that that was your first death in this run, right? Like first death in this platinum medal run.
Possibly. I think so. There would have been 3 bonus lives. So I've died
2.
twice. Yeah, which is alright. And if you think about a 100 mission run, you kind of want to keep your lives from early on, because there are 22 lives there, but by the end, if you think about, you know, a set of 5 what is this green tank doing? A set of 5 missions, you kind of want to go deathless to hoard your lives a little bit more. Later on, you will end up draining lives, more than likely. Even the world record, which is ridiculously optimal, is still kind of, it does take some deaths in places where you would kind of think, yeah, you could probably avoid that, but it's still a ridiculously optimal run. Yeah, shouts to Colio. Holds most of the tanks world records. It's just some ridiculous times set there. Again, a lot of them this year.
Yeah, even the best tanks players can't really avoid dying in not ideal places.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're not able to observe a bullet because of smoke or some other like tunnel vision, then you're going to die, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just gotta keep trucking on.
And that's another intricate detail of this we haven't really mentioned yet. This game is 2.5 dimensional. So basically what that means is if there's anything hidden behind the walls from our perspective, it's there. The mines might be there, but we just can't see them. So there are sound effects and stuff that you can look out for. That was very close. Yeah, but really you just want to be very alert for the whole game, really. That was an open layout. That is one of the very few layouts out of the 30 in tanks that can never come up again. Even though these are partially randomized from now on, for the most part, some of these are still predetermined. Mission 30 is predetermined completely. And 25, the layout is predetermined, but the tank grades are random. Yeah, you can still get some random layouts thrown at you, but you cannot get specific ones. So that open layout, thankfully we don't get that ever again. Even though in the game files, you can see that there are 8 tank placements, which is quite interesting.
Is Mission 100 an open layout?
Mission 100 is the same layout as Mission 1, which is a really, really nice detail. Again, it's another thing of they just knew exactly what they were doing with the layouts in this game. And really, the only way I can describe it is it's kind of like when people describe, you know, Super Mario Bros. 1-1 is really well designed with its map layout. And this is kind of the same thing, really, with the fact that this is so limited. They've kind of done a great job with the resources they have. Because some of the levels later on are so well designed. The best one I can think of is, I think it's Mission 80, where you have pretty much, you have all of the walls are completely breakable. So these stone walls you can break with mines. The wood ones you can't break. So that layout, we're not going to see it here, but that layout has only stone walls. Now, they have, I think that layout has 2 yellows, 2 whites, and 2 black tanks, okay? Now, the issue with the yellows is they can have up to 4 mines on the field at once. So, it kind of can get a little chaotic because they're laying a bunch of mines, while you're trying to avoid the black tanks, which are firing extra fast rocket bullets at you. You've got the white tanks, which are invisible. And all of that comes together to make what should be a fairly simple mission at that point in the game. If you're reaching Mission 80, it's fairly simple. it makes it really inconsistent and difficult sometimes. When you die, all of the obstacles do come back into play. But there's also Mission 90, which is 8 grey tanks on the Mission 4 layout, which is just so evil. Like, you just shouldn't be dying there, but it just happens anyway, because you're under so much pressure. You're 90 missions into the game. Like, on a first playthrough, you've probably taken well over an hour to get to that point. You are scared at that stage. You do not want to be dying to a grey tank, but yeah, it's so well designed. I could talk about it for the entire length of the tanks. It's a good thing we've got more tanks later. We're going to be seeing some co-op later, which is...
Yes.
Yeah,
One
it
player,
can
two
be even
controllers.
scarier.
And that's what I mean. Like, tanks is probably heralded as the best thing to come out of Wii Play, and for good reason.
Yeah, it's so well designed.
Okay, we're coming up on the mission 30, so remember to not go past mission 31.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. Okay, I'm actually going to play a little bit safer now, because, yeah, we're still on 3 lives, but that's the magic number for me. As long as we're still on 3, I'm feeling safe. And if I'm doing a long 100 mission playthrough, as long as I'm on 10, I'm safe.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really happen very often, but yeah.
Yeah, 3 lives is the starting value, so just think of it like you've started up a fresh tanks run, you know? Just different layout and tanks.
Yeah, fresh tanks run, but there's fresh chaos as well.
Yes.
We didn't really talk about the bullet limit as well, so I have a limit of 5 bullets here. That's why I'm firing at the walls quite often. So I'm actually firing at the walls so I get my bullets back quicker. The moment it has ricocheted once already, on the second hit, it will then pop, and then we get that bullet back instantly. And the same thing with mines. We have 2 mines, but that doesn't really matter. We're not really using mines here. Shoutouts to Mines Only. Mines Only is possibly one of the silliest category extensions to ever exist. It's not added yet, but there is theoretically a way of beating 20 missions here with only mines. And that makes me very happy. It's not happened yet, but that is one of my goals of next year. To beat this Mines Only. Because it's so silly.
Alright,
But that's tanks. That is pretty good.
And score skip does not apply here because the pre-platinum medal, the tanks game capped at mission 20. So since we're at mission 30 now, we surpassed that.
Yeah.
Okay, now table tennis is an auto scroller and it has the same concept as tanks. We cap at 100 at first and then it opens up to 999 rallies. Platinum is at 200 rallies, so if it's since it's an auto scroller, if it's okay with you, Midi, we can open
Oh no!
open it, oh
dear!
open it. I was gonna say open it up to donations or any other announcements.
Yeah, we can have donations for the first one. The second one, I'm gonna need to focus a little bit more. So yeah, donations or messages. Now is an okay time.
Yeah, actually, I'd like to take this moment, and thank you for this, to talk about the merch that we're also offering for Winter Pride 2023. Our very own Scala Kitty has created some amazing designs that you can purchase for yourself and support Point of Pride, our charity of choice for this marathon, at the same time. Type !merch in chat to get the link to the Bonfire store and take home some of your own loot today. And yeah, I know this is very much serious time. Oh my god, that I cannot imagine how fast this gets later on.
It gets faster, yeah. If you couldn't already tell, this gets pretty fast. We do have a backup strat of pause buffering, which I have to use for 999. In the max percent runs that take about 4 hours, 999 rallies is required. Needless to say, nobody else has ever attempted all achievements, but yeah, I've done it twice, and it's brutal. So yeah, you need pause buffering there, but here hopefully we can do it without. I'll give it one go. But yeah, the first game we only need 100 points, so we actually unlock the full game, as Theon said.
Yes. And Midi did start off this rallying by being very close to the net. That's how the obstruction came up. But as the rallying gets faster and faster, Midi will back up his paddle so that he gets more distance to react to the ball. But the reason why we start so close is so that there is less distance, and that's faster, and it adds up between rallies. So yeah. And now is focus time. So yeah, I'm gonna stay quiet so Midi can focus on getting 200, which is very difficult.
Yeah, the best way of summing up that that table tennis can cost a bit of time is my bronze medal's 1835. So bronze medal's world record is 1835 now. It used to be held by Theon, who is objectively better than me at bronze medals, by the way. I was not able to touch his world record before, 1, score skip, and 2, I got the 7 break billiards in the bronze medals run. So most people who, you know, use their brain at that point would have changed that to an all games NG plus run because you can just pivot to that. But I decided to just keep it going with a bronze medals run. In that run, I also had a ridiculously good find me and tanks. So I ended up like 40 seconds ahead in a 19-minute run, which is just unbelievable. So when I got to table tennis, I kind of just thought, you know what? I'm just going to play really far away from the net. Bronze is only 40 points, so I was really scared. I lost 4 seconds there for playing further back, which is completely fine if you're, you know, new to the game. But in a world record, I kind of do regret that now. But hey, to not lose the run, that's a once-in-a-lifetime chance. I don't think I'm going to get that chance at that run again. So yeah, I kind of had to play safe.
It definitely paid off because...
oh, yeah.
yeah.
No!
Oh!
That's fine.
Okay. Well, we attempt this again. It's fine. It's only like a less than a minute.
It's a couple of minutes, but we're fine. We're okay. We're still ahead.
So yeah, enjoy the calm ambiance of table tennis.
Yeah, it's calm for most people. It's calm for most people at this point, except for when we get to, you know, 150.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary. But recently, there has actually been a discovery in table tennis. Basically, depending on where you hold the paddle, the ball will get hit to that place. So, for example, the biggest one we know about now is between 186 and 200 points. If I hold the bat on the right-hand side, just barely, of the little white line in the middle, the ball will always go left. Now, I got that in my Platts PB, Platinum Medals, meaning Platts. And I thought I got lucky at the time, but it turns out current second place, Murasaki, also did the exact same thing, and it made me think, hold on. This is just reminding me of basically every other Wii Play game that just has that quirkiness that makes you think, you know what, this might just be a strange little pattern here. And it is. I repeated it multiple times. It's a thing. So, yeah. Honestly, it doesn't make this any nicer. It makes it a tiny bit nicer, but it doesn't make it very nice. But yeah, hopefully we can get this here. If I get a little bit scared, we will do pause buffering. Yeah. I'm going to focus from now on. Thing is, if we hold it too far back, then you do actually get a foul as well by just not hitting the ball. So I want to be a little bit careful of that.
To get that, you have to hold it at the very edge of the screen, so you still have a lot of leeway there.
I mean, it's happened to me before. I've lost max percent runs on 700-ish rallies, so yeah, that can be pretty brutal. That's why table tennis is a bit more of a starting game in that run. Got a little bit scared there, actually, because we got a middle hit there, and it really kind of scared me. But that was because I was barely not on the right-hand side. But that's fine. We got out no pause buffering, which I'm happy about.
Very nice, very nice. Okay.
All right,
we,
Theon's. This is Theon's time to shine.
we
This
are
is
moving
Theon's
on to
game.
Charge. So Charge is the game that I specialize in, just because I like it. Here at the beginning, you can get a start boost if you yank the remote down, which Midi did get. Very
All right.
nice.
I hope you're
So-
proud of me.
Yeah, I am very proud of you, actually. Midi did a 10,000%, so Charge times 100 run of this a few weeks ago, and that really helped his consistency with this game, and I'm very happy that he did that.
Yeah, I actually ended up doing 140 runs in a row because basically, after 100, I made quite a few mistakes. It's very easy to just miss a scarecrow and have to redo the individual run. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do an extra 40, and what we can do then is just take the first 40 away, and then add the last 40 on. And that ended up, 1, improving the time by a few minutes, and 2, ended up setting a new world record with that, because the only reason it's world record is because Theon hasn't touched this yet. Because Theon has done Charge any percent times 100 and absolutely demolished the world record by a few minutes. I've done 2 runs of this, and in the second one, I only PB'd because of better menuing. And then Theon just comes out and just beats it by a few minutes.
Okay, I will say that we're out of Charge now, but I will plug my Charge any percent world record progression if you want to learn more about the mechanics behind that game. It's a bit scuffed because I used my very bad laptop microphone to record the lines, but it's the information inside of it is quite still good. So.
And if you can believe it, it's actually the world record for 100% now, because of the in-game timer there, is 39.91 seconds remaining. So 5 seconds better than I got there, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that is held by Theon, who has a huge lead in any percent and 100%.
Yeah. So Charge is there's a lot of mechanics that allow me to conserve speed and also just be faster in general, like the scarecrows having massive hitboxes. But yeah, we're on laser hockey now, so let's focus on that. So laser hockey is a bit of an auto scroller. You can only lose time here. If the CPU scores, you lose like 3 or 4 seconds because of the goal animation. Platinum medal limit is 14 goals, so once Midi gets 14 goals, he will stop playing laser hockey and just let the timer count down. He's on good pace.
I do
to
get
14.
14.
Yeah,
I'm on pace. I'm on huge pace. Yeah, normally I'd hope to be on at least, as a bare minimum, 15 seconds per goal for the last 4 goals. And we're on double that. That is a 3-second time loss, but that's absolutely fine. Really, that doesn't matter here. Not in the context of the run.
Every goal you get, the CPU gets more intelligent and gets more agile. So letting them have a goal actually isn't that bad because it slows the CPU down.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's actually a thing, because I tried that in one of my recent runs, and I just ended up not getting anywhere better. But maybe it's a thing. I haven't really put much into testing that, so maybe it is.
It's more noticeable in the lower score totals. But if you're already on like 17 and the CPU is at like, 0, it's not going to have much of a difference. But yeah, Midi got 14, so we're just going to let the timer count down the last 25 seconds to not lose any more time.
And there, if you just bonk it with the back of the paddle, then it goes nowhere. Also, shoutouts to the circle paddle. There is a way of playing this with a proper, laser hockey or air hockey mallet. But we wouldn't recommend it. I'd be surprised if the devs put any time into actually testing it, because basically every game without fail, the CPU will just back it into a corner and sit there. You might as well randomly generate a number between 5 and 20. And that's how many seconds the CPU is going to sit in the corner with the ball. My best there is 7 points. Which is the next game? Pose me.
Pose me.
But yeah, in bingo, there is actually a goal to use the circle paddle. But yeah, thankfully in a speedrun we don't have to. But yeah, if you're looking to get into the game as well, by the way, not all of the medal thresholds are this difficult. For example, laser hockey bronze is only 3 points, and silver is 7 and gold is 10. So yeah, very welcoming to do bronze or silver, especially, rather than go straight into platinum. I definitely didn't go straight into platinum.
Yeah. I still haven't done a platinum run. Or
I
a
mean,
gold
you
run
are a
for that.
score hunter though, so you are actually better than me at some of these.
Some of them, but I'm still not that great at tanks.
True.
I will mention that since Midi mentioned the laser hockey scores, there was a very long period of time for replay runners where we thought the laser hockey bronze was 5 points, and the tanks bronze was like mission 5. No, it was like mission 10 or something. Wait,
This
no, 10
game's
is
really
silver.
silly sometimes.
Yeah, we had no clue what the medal thresholds were. There was no testing. We just did some trial and error and just determined, oh, it might be this, so we're just gonna keep doing this. And then someone came along and actually did some proper testing and lowered the score threshold for laser hockey and tanks by like basically they cut the splits by a third or more, which is absolutely hilarious. Just
Yeah,
goes to show what
eventually- Oh yeah, go ahead.
yeah, it just goes to show what some actual strategy development can do for any game.
Yeah, I mean, eventually when I started running the game, I kind of just lurked in the Wii Series Discord for like 3 years, just doing Wii Sports Resort All Sports on the side, and then just picked up this game one day, and then I thought, you know what? This is really silly. Why are we just running the game and not properly testing the medal thresholds? Because I was like kind of looking into, because platinum medals were tried and tested. All of those were completely accurate because we kind of went by wiki information. But the issue with that is that the wiki information was wrong, regardless of which wiki you're on. So we now have a cheat sheet that has all of the accurate medal thresholds. But yeah, thankfully now, I mean, the biggest differences are laser hockey and also shooting range, which we're going to see last. That's the final mini game coming up after this. But right now, pose me, and yeah, as we've seen in chat, my wrist is hurting just looking at this mini game. Thankfully, you don't actually have to turn the Wii remote a whole lot to, I mean, on one of the missions, on one of the stages later on, it's going to make us flip the Wii remote upside down, but we actually don't need to flip it a whole 180 degrees. It's going to be a slightly different angle than that. But yeah, there are patterns and stuff here. There's lots of stuff that goes into pose me rather, behind the scenes, which I'm sure Theon will explain.
Yeah, so pose me. The hitbox of the bubbles is actually, and the degrees per angle, like if you turn the Wii remote, the Mii will turn more than you actually turned it, as Midi mentioned. So it's actually not as hard on your hands as you might think. But so pose me, there's nature backgrounds, very calm, chill ambience, and then the score threshold for platinum is I think 1200, right?
1200, yeah, and yet bronze is only 150, so you only have to play, 3 or 4 levels.
Yeah. So I think that's like around level 12 or something that pose me will end. And yeah, the faster that you pop bubbles, the more that will spawn, because each level is run on a set timer, and when the timer expires, bubbles will stop appearing, and that's when the level will end. And if you get through a level without dying a single time, or letting a bubble go through the waving water at the bottom there, then you don't lose a life and you get a perfect bonus. And each subsequent perfect bonus will increase by 5 with the levels as the levels go on. So I think the level bonus, this is like level 8. I think it's like 30 or 40 right now.
Yeah, it's 5 times the number, so yeah. It gets pretty important later on. I mean, basically the thing with Pose Me is that you can't end the levels early because, kind of like fishing, there's an invisible timer, and that's really the charm of this. It's a really relaxing game because it doesn't have a timer there. The same with fishing, it just kind of lets you play the game. And then Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. But yeah, here it's a 30-second timer. There are rainbow bubbles that appear though. On the last level, it's pretty much guaranteed to appear, but basically whenever you get a little bit behind, I'm expecting one here now. Oh, never mind, covered it. Yeah, basically when you get a little bit behind, or some of the bubbles get nearer the waves at the bottom, which is where you lose a life, the game will just throw you a rainbow bubble. Now that stops time until all of the rainbow bubbles are gone, or after 10 seconds. So that pauses the invisible timer. That's basically the only time save that goes into this. Now there is a way of ending Pose Me one level earlier than I usually do, and that is done by, of course, Murasaki, who is currently second place in this category, held world record for a while. Now he saves 30 seconds over me by just doing a good Pose Me. Now I'm not amazing at this. I used to be. You know, I can hold my own in this now, but that took a while to get there, and I'm still a really, really long way off of being able to do the fast Pose Me exit. And by a long way off, I mean like 50, 60 points. Seriously, Theo, Murasaki is just way ahead of the curve. But to be honest, if Theon were to try and do early exit as well, I reckon you'd have a good shot, because you have a really, really high score in Pose Me. I don't know whether you pause buffered it or
No, I did not.
Yeah, so that's probably in your realm of possibility, but it's well out of mine. So I kind of have to make up for it in Find Me and Tanks.
I believe my highest score on Pose Me is like a low 1700 score, and the world record is just below 2000. We know that the 2000 score is with pause buffering, but there are claims of, I think, in the mid 1800s that we don't know if they pause buffered or not. But the thing about Pose Me is that, so we play has PAL and NTSC differences. Pose Me, shooting range, and table tennis are affected by this frame rate difference. The timer on Pose Me actually runs slightly slow on PAL because of the frame rate difference, and that allows for more time for bubbles to spawn. Same thing with shooting range, as you'll see coming up. In one round, the targets round, it's run on a set timer, or like the targets spawn at a set time. So if you shoot them quickly, then more will spawn. And then table tennis, it just runs at a slower frame rate in general, so the paddling or the rallying will be slower than NTSC. I run on NTSC, so I'm not sure if I'd be able to get the early exit, honestly.
Basically, this is Theon just throwing a skill issue at me. Oh, so that was very close.
Yeah, that was really quick. You're past platinum now, right?
Yes, yeah. That is the level that we would have ended on if we got the early exit, by the way. And I was, what, 65 behind? 60 behind? So, yeah. We're not getting it, but that's fine, because I've never got it.
Yeah. Well, possible time save for future runs, you know?
Well, possible time save if I were actually able to get it. I am going to need to put a bit of practice into it, because that's pretty much the best way I think I can ever see myself actually pushing the time a bit further down, because yeah, there's not much time save elsewhere. There's just a few minutes left in the run. Shooting range is the final game, so we're looking at about a 1:15 hopefully. I'm going to turn on my other controller because we're allowed 2 controllers for this game.
Yeah. So shooting range, there's actually a few Easter eggs for this game. If you hold a combo, then every hit above 5, you get a point. Like if you lose your combo, then you get that score added to your score. And in the first round, if you hit the same color balloon more than once, you get the 2 points per balloon instead of 1. Yep. And this is the targets stage I was talking about. The faster you hit these targets, the more that will spawn, and the more points you will get. For this cycle of targets, it doesn't really matter, but for this right here, cycle of targets, it does matter again, how quickly you shoot the targets. Yeah, and there are birds that just fly periodically across the screen. If you hit those, you will gain points.
as Midi just did. And yeah, so that's pretty much all there is to shooting range. I'll explain the levels that they go on. There are clay pigeons here, or frisbees. The closer to the screen, or the faster that you hit them, you get 5 points instead of 3. If you let them go too far, you get 3, as you can see. And yeah, that's just how this stage goes. Not much else to explain, really.
Yeah, so every time I drop a combo, it's costing me about 4 points. Here, I'd like to be on a little bit more. Actually, no. Wait, we get birds here. So we should be fine to actually let all of these cans fall. Now, these foreground cans, that will save us time if we hit these, and this is why we're kind of using 2 controllers. There we go.
Nice.
We've got 2 of them.
2 out of 3. Yeah, so if you hit the foreground cans, the more shots you hit at a can, the faster they fall, and if you hit them, then they don't go up as high, so that's an extra compensation. And yeah, this is the UFO stage, very sporadic. Oh. I'm sure you're still fine.
We are... No, we're fine.
Oh,
Never
you're
mind.
good,
I
you're
miscounted. I forgot
Yeah.
how to count, actually. I
so
genuinely
that's the
thought,
run.
wait, we're 4 points behind. No, we're fine. So time's coming in with about 5 to 10 seconds. It's when the banner appears in the menu. We might barely be getting sub 115. And it's coming up in about 2 seconds. And that's time.
Time. Very nice.
That's pretty good. Yeah, we failed table tennis twice. And took 10 minutes in billiards. So taking off the billiards time, that's like a 104, 105. That's
a
pretty
really
good.
solid time.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't skill issue in table tennis, then that would have been really, really solid. Now, the good thing is we already have our second controller connected for Tanks 1P2C. Thank you so much for your generosity in reaching that. We are going to see that in a moment. I am going to just get ready on start over again and just get straight into it because I know we'll just like to get into that. But basically, what we're going to be doing here is we are going to try and go for 20 missions because this is where Tank Co-op stops. We are going to try and beat all 20. I've done a little bit of practice of this. My best today was 19. But to be honest, as long as we get at least 10 here, I'd love that. So we're going to give it a shot. I don't know if we're ready on the timer for this again, or if we're just going to go in without the timer.
I'm not sure. I'd say feel free to go on, or maybe we can wait for a timer if you'd like. I could read a donation very quickly and talk about some stuff.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
never
can
mind.
read a
Timer's
donation.
good to go, but let me read a donation anyways.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've already seen these missions, so yeah. For sure.
Okay, so real quick, and I guess if you want to, do you want to count in and I'll read it, or do you want to talk about that? And I'll leave it to you.
I can count in, and then we'll have a donation straight away because these missions are going to be pretty much the same.
Sounds good. So
we'll have a countdown.
I'll let y'all count in.
Okay, so in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, so feel free to read off a donation.
You got it now. We have a $25 donation from one Flannel who says, I absolutely need to donate during the We Play run. I love these variety pack speedruns. Also, hey, this host seems rad. I don't know why she would say that. Donation goes trying to dethrone Echo, which, speaking of that, just real quick, we do have some bid wars and some incentives that do need some love. We've got a bid war right now for the Link Between Worlds randomizer, where Lunk leads with $125. Monk not far behind at $50, and Saku needs anything at this point to have a chance, but your donations could change the tide of that bid war. We also have a character choice bid war, Echo Jr. Echo currently leads 65 to 35 for Kitney, and $5 for Terra. And then there's some showcases in bid wars, $95 of 250 for the D4DJ Easter egg song showcase. That is coming up in a few hours, so definitely get some donations in if you want to see that, along with a Legend of Zelda Link to the Past any percent bonus run. We have $160 of 1,000 for unlocking that run. And you can donate towards a bid war and a showcase, so keeping that in mind if you're donating, ! Donate in the chat. Back to you, SMMidi.
Yeah, so I actually have my controllers swapped in my order here, so I'm just gonna quickly pause because I think that's that's gonna help me.
Yeah,
Basically,
I was wondering.
I've got elastic bands around my controllers at the moment to hold them together, and the reason for that, there we go. Well, I'm paused now. The reason for that is essentially by having elastic bands rather than something like Velcro to hold them together. What that allows is free movement of the cursors. So hopefully we'll still be fine here. But basically what you would have seen, because I've already died once, the intricacy of, or the main thing here with this, is we have technically no lives. So we did not see an extra life on mission 5. That is because if both tanks die on the same mission, then we're done. That is the end of the estimate. That is the end of the run. That's it. We won't have any more ghosts. So pretty much a lot of these, I'm just going to allow the other tank to just take a death. Because controlling both with one player is, well, that was close, is pretty difficult. So I can see there's only 2 tanks remaining, which is quite nice. I thought there were 3 there, but looking at the counter at the bottom is pretty helpful. I'll just play a little bit safe here just to make sure my bullets don't come back to hit me. And yeah, we're out. Excellent. So basically, some of these tank positions are slightly different than what we saw originally. There we go. Now we're seeing the correct movement here. But yeah, we have a 5 bullet limit as we did before. We have the same limits, but of course that means we have 10 in total we can use. So we can power through much quicker. Now the issue is, because I'm trying to control both at the same time, my PB here is actually slower than my regular Tanks 20. But there is a leaderboard specifically for co-op, and these are the only world records that haven't been beaten in 2023. And because of that, there are bounties. So if you're looking to get into this game and you want a little bit of a nudge, and you have a friend to run this with, or even if you don't have a friend to run this with, and you think you can actually beat world record without, which I think is pretty much impossible, but you have my luck if you do wish to go for it. Then there are bounties, so you can try and go for them for the rest of the year. Basically, every other category on the main board has been beaten in 2023, except for Tanks Co-op, which I think just as a last thing to mention the community's done this year, that really is just a huge thing. Now here, this is a slightly different strat. I'm actually just going to treat this as a second life. Ordinarily in a PB attempt, I would actually just cut through the wall there. And we would have seen that in the run earlier, but here I'm going to take that opportunity to have a second life wherever I get that, because this is brutal. So we have now beaten 10 missions, so we are very much at a good position. I've really shown off what I'd like to show off at this stage. I'm going to stick this CPU in the corner. That was a very lucky hit. Normally I'm not going for that one at that stage. Yeah, most of the strats other than what I've already discussed though are pretty much the same. This red tank just peep out of the corner. There we go.
If I can interject here, I will say that Tanks Co-op does cap at 20, so we're not gonna see 100 missions here. Otherwise, that would be way too long. It does end at 20 missions, which is what MIDI is trying to go for here.
Oh my goodness, I just forgot how to actually press the right D-pad for a moment. Yeah, so my hand-eye coordination is not very good, so it's not really a great idea that I do this, but I decided I don't care. I think it's cool, so we just do it anyway. We're doing okay so far. But yeah, the funny thing is, again, with the game files, there are all 30 layouts in co-op, because you can see that they put in the second player tank in the game files, but for some reason they decided to just cap it at 20, which, to be fair, is understandable, because the fact that there's no lives in here, it's pretty brutal to do this as sort of a co-op thing. But it would have been nice to have the choice, right? You know, it's kind of like Mario Party Online, you know? It's nice to have the choice, even though Nintendo seemed to not like the idea for a while. Also, fun fact, that mission has an extra green tank, because of course they had to make co-op harder. There are 84 tanks in tanks, basically. Here we go. Oh, excellent. That's a purple tank self-destruct. Excellent. That's very rare. We were talking about the purples being intelligent earlier. But anyway, that was pretty good. These are still really hard missions, though, to be fair. That's a very rare occurrence to get that. Just saving that blue tank there. Excellent. We are 4 remaining, so we're either going to be done very soon or we're going to be done very soon with a win. Also, again, very, very difficult placements here. You can just get sniped by both tanks within half a second. That has happened to me on PB places before. It's so brutal. But yeah, again, the layouts are really well designed for 2-player here. Perhaps they just didn't really know how to deal with the others for 2-player. We have 3 remaining though. And as you can tell, we are going to have a pretty difficult time later on as soon as we start to see the invisible tanks later on. So hopefully we're fine. You do see the red tanks are actually, or the tanks are actually aiming at the red there. That's a very lucky hit on the green tank. Now that teal tank, you might notice, is actually aiming at the red tank, which is quite funny because you're not going to reach the red tank through an unbreakable wall. I hate to break it to you, but it's not going to happen. I know the rocket bullets are strong, but they're not that strong. So, yeah, that is an intricacy of tanks co-op. Even sometimes they will face the correct tank, but they will still not fire because their targeting is on the other one. So, yeah, this game is strange. But yet another thing of this game being a little bit quirky sometimes. I'm just going to save that. Never mind, we're not going to save it. Okay, now we're a little bit of a concern, but that's fine. Okay. So now we're just playing from the top, which is a little bit cursed because normally we're playing from the bottom. We're just going to go around the wall here, see if we can snipe any. Remember, if we go around the wall, we're a little bit safer. Not just that, but the enemy tanks aren't firing their own bullets to cancel out our ones. So they are naturally going to get hit a little bit more. Now, I have a little bit of a difficult grip on the controller as well. And this is what makes co-op a little bit harder. I'm kind of using my middle finger rather than my index finger on the B button, which is not the regular grip that I use. But that's just how this is. I'm using 2 controllers. It's pretty difficult. And there are actually games that use 2 controllers in their main categories. I think the main one that comes to mind is Mario Galaxy. But yeah, we're coming up to the final mission here. I do hope it goes well. There's no guarantees.
Final mission.
Okay, there's one gone. There we go.
Let's go. Nice.
And that is by, I think, 1 second a PB. Even with the pause, it's a PB. So I think I need to work on my tanks co-op time. I was not expecting a PB there because that was played very safe by the end. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that one.
Yeah, this is a very hard category to do solo, so well done, MIDI.
All right. But yeah, I know we're obviously a little bit behind because I've done that and the incentive now. So yeah, quick shout outs to the Wii Series Discord. You can run not just Wii Play, and not just Wii Play Motion, the sequel, but you can run all 13 of the Wii Series games. Even if you don't have a Wii, Nintendo Switch Sports does count as a Wii Series game, according to Nintendo. So yeah, we have all of the games there. Even Wii Chess has a leaderboard. So yeah, feel free to join. And yeah, we actually recently made a huge guide for this game, 22 pages long, I think, of of just constant, because every game is standalone, right? So it's kind of, you have to explain every game individually. But yeah, the beginner category is sort of all games, bronze medals. They're very, very beginner friendly. So yeah, it's a really, really nice game to get into. Theon as well, mainly an all games runner, has done bronze medals in the past as well. And yeah, shout outs to Theon with his charge world record progression video. That is really, really well made. And obviously outdated by his own efforts because he's popped the times now. But yeah, shout outs to Theon. Theon, do you have any shout outs other than that?
Well, the Wii series you've already shouted out. I guess I'll shout out the mobile speedrunning Discord because I plugged it in the server, and that's where I got my speedrunning start. So if anyone from there is listening, hello. Yeah, that's it from me.
All right, that's pretty much it. So we'll hand back to the host. And yeah, thanks so much for having us. Have a good rest of your
thanks.
marathon.
This was a
Yeah.
good marathon.
Thank you so much, SMMidi and Theon. I appreciate seeing this wonderful romp through a bunch of fun little Wii games. And we will be back in a little bit. We're going to set up the run for Little Big Planet Co-op New Game Plus. This is Winter Pride 2023. We're benefiting Point of Pride. Stick around. There's a lot of good speed runs left to go today. Stay here. Stay right here, chat. You're cute. You belong right here. Just stick around. Trust me. Hello again, everyone. I'm PSEG, and this is Winter Pride 2023, a Power Up with Pride event benefiting the charity Point of Pride. I just want to take a moment and talk to you, those of you out there who are wondering, how can I donate? How can I support this charity? It's confusing. Donating can be so confusing, and you click the link and it takes you to a whole different page. I've got you. I can give you a walkthrough right now on how to do that if you would like to support Point of Pride. First off, all you gotta do is type in donate in the chat, !donate, and you should get a nice link there. There's also a nice image below the stream if you're not on mobile that has a donate image. You can click that, it'll take you to the exact same place. Click that Tiltify link and it'll bring up just a nice page, gives you a lot of details on our current targets, our current bid war polls, and from there, you can click Donate Now. There's a nice blue button near the top of the screen for Tiltify. You click that, and it takes you to another page that lets you choose bid war choices, targets. For example, let's say I want to support Echo. Maybe I'm Team Echo, and I'd like to see Echo for Echo Jr. tomorrow morning. I could go ahead, click that, and say, oh, I'm going to click the Echo name right there, and add it to what I'm donating. I could do that, or maybe I'm team, dethrone Echo. Hashtag dethrone Echo, perhaps, that someone has put in chat. Yes, it's a dolphin. It's a dolphin bid war here, folks. You could also click one of the other options, Kidney or Terra, and you can donate towards them. You don't have to put a dollar amount in just yet, just click an option. From there, you can also choose other bid wars, but you might think, oh, well, that's just one choice, and I maybe also want to donate to this and one of the bonus games. You can donate to 2 things here, chat. Yes, you can. I'll show you how. If you're on the donate page, there's a poll tab, but there's also a targets tab. You can click that, and it'll show you our current targets. D4DJ Easter Egg Song Showcase, which has 95 of the $250 it needs to happen. Let's say I wanted to make that happen. I just click that $95 bar to $250 bar, or maybe just the title of the showcase itself, and that will be added to your donation summary. Or maybe I want to swap it up and go to the any % bonus run for Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. It's $160 of the 1,000 it needs. It also needs some love. Choose wisely, but if you're going to donate, make sure you choose one of them. Your dollars matter, and we're not doing runner's choice, host's choice. It's all your choice here at Winter Pride. But you can do that, go to checkout, enter your details, enter a message if you'd like that we can read off on stream, and then enter your payment details and you'll be set to go. It's extremely easy. It's extremely, I mean, it's not bad. It's not hard, chat. You can help out a great charity in Point of Pride and unlock more runs to extend Winter Pride 2023. That said, this concludes my time for today as host. I'm going to hand it off for the Little Big Planet run. I have been Peaceegg, you have been wonderful, and until we see each other again, stick around for more great speedruns here at Winter Pride 20.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Corundum Core, but you can call me Core or Ruby, and I am going to be your host for the next 3 runs. So that's the Little Big Planet run, Curse Crackers, and then Tetris, the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2+. So, while we are doing the last finishing touches on Little Big Planet, I want to go ahead and read a donation that came in during the handoff. So we've got a $25 donation from Hyperfied. Best of luck to Metroberry and Mikal. Little Big Planet is my favorite speed game and a great watch. PBJ Hype! Thank you so much for that donation. And I heard that Peaceegg gave you a fantastic rundown of how to donate. But in the meantime, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our charity, Point of Pride. So, we are raising money for Point of Pride, which is a trans-led 501c3 nonprofit organization, and they've served tens of thousands of people in all 50 states and 100+ countries by providing access to gender-affirming health and wellness services. So, for example, they've got their HRT Access Fund, which is a scholarship-like program that provides 12 months of free medical care for trans folks seeking gender-affirming hormone replacement therapy via Point of Pride's telehealth partners. And as somebody, who gets HRT, that can get really expensive really fast. So if you are somebody who is looking for any form of gender affirming care and you're worried about being able to afford it, absolutely go to pointofpride.org and check out their grant and scholarship programs so that you can, get access to the care that you need. And with that, we will finish getting set up with Little Big Planet, and we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.